Look at Mike McDonald. He's a bat. The Seahawks defense started the season strong, allowing 43 points combined over their first 3 games. But that was to Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson. Since then, they have allowed their opponents to score 30 points per game, the 3rd most in the NFL. They've also allowed the 2nd highest total QBR and the most yards per play. Mina, that's scary. Will playing the Rams be a trick or a treat for the Seahawks defense?
Trick.
How do you feel about this matchup? That was my best horror movie. Sorry. That was so bad. Oh my God. It is appropriate. I actually feel that way about anyone facing this. Stop laughing at me, guys. This Rams offense should be scary to any defense, even good defense. Here's the thing about the Seahawks defense. The pass defense is actually not bad. The problem is they're never in 3rd down because they can't stop the run. And unfortunately, this Rams rushing attack with Kyren Williams is awesome. So I don't see this going well for them.
All right, so whoever makes that a meme, you got to include the sound.
Be a meme.
You need the sound with it. It's so good. Okay, James Daniels and the Commanders, they travel to East.
Okay, that was quite the clip. I apologize. I got no control over it, but yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be sleeping on the Rams. People think that the Rams are really not that good, and the reality is that they just weren't healthy. People still, I think they struggle to realize and recognize how legit Matthew Stafford is, especially with Sean McVay, and how legit Sean McVay is, especially with Matthew Stafford. And you give him people to actually throw to, right? You actually give him wide receivers who can make plays. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, you're going to be threatening. You're going to be able to do damage. And I always thought, let's see if we can get these numbers here. I always thought that the Seahawks were a little inflated. I was kind of like, I don't know, right? Can't make up my mind necessarily, but everybody was really quick to crown them as this like top team. And I was like, oh, there's definitely some good things to like about them. I don't think that they're this trash team, but I think they were a little overvalued. And with the injuries of the Rams, they're undervalued. And so I think what we saw the Rams be able to do against, say, the Minnesota Vikings is way closer to who the Rams are. And I think if they stay healthy, they're gonna be trouble. I mean, there's just no question about that. So I honestly cannot see the Rams even being able. I can't see the Seahawks even being able to remotely, at this point, at least offense versus defense, keep up with what the Rams will be able to do. I really think like Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford are just like, oh my God, thank God. We got our boys back. We got our crew back. Let's get to work. We were trying our best to kind of save this season. It's kind of an in-between at this point. Who really knows? Because they did obviously rack up losses, but let's get to it, right? I don't think they're obviously punting on the season. I think they would have made other decisions if that was the case, and it doesn't appear to me that they are. So I think the Rams are going to continue with this momentum. They're going to continue to kind of, I was going to say remind everyone who they are, but unfortunately I don't think no matter what they do, people aren't listening. Because even after that Rams-Vikings game, it was more about the missed face mask penalty, which was a penalty. You have to admit that. But it was more about that. It was more about, are the Vikings more trick than treat, right? Are they on pumpkin watch and all of that? There was more talk about that rather than the actual specialness of what the Rams are and what they can do. And obviously I know there's more to the team than just Puka, Cooper and Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. I get that, but that is obviously the nucleus, right? That is the team right there. That is what makes everything else go round, right? That protects the defense, that protects obviously the offense. I mean, it just sets everything else in motion, which we saw on full display against the Vikings, right? Like it just we saw that on full display. So I really believe that we're going to see a continuation of all of this. And, you know, I think the Seahawks, even if they're fully healthy and have that going and have their offense going and they're able to take care of the ball and not turn the ball over and put their defense, you know, on their back foot, I still believe in what the Rams will be able to do offensively because I believed in them going into the season. And I believed even when they had their injuries in week 1 against the Lions, I was like, look what Stafford's able to do, right? I mean, the guy is just brilliant. Even though they lost that game in overtime, it was still like, man, Stafford just knows how to ball. He just knows how to be a quarterback. And Sean McVay knows how to squeeze every last drop out of the talent that he has, right? And it was just kind of like, can they stay afloat long enough to get these guys back? And of course, the injuries are always like, I don't know, when are they going to come back? Are there going to be any setbacks? What's going on when they come back? What are they going to look like? Are they going to be fully healthy? What's the story? And they had some moments where they were able to make do, like against the 49ers, for instance. And then they had other times when it was just like, oh my God, we just got blown out. This is awful. So I think that people are just confused on the Rams of what this team looks like, because the reality is we've never got to see what they look like. We never got to see what they were, who they were as a team. We never did, outside of Minnesota Vikings. And that already is like kind of misleading in a negative way, actually. Not in a positive way, but misleading in a negative way, because it's like those players now, right? You have 95% of the team that's been playing now these weeks, when you have these other 2 players, specifically, you know, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, who are now essentially out of rhythm with the rest of the team, right? Everyone else is like no longer rusty. You have these players who are now trying to be like, okay, I trust my body. I trust my injury. You know, you got to shake off rust. Even if you're a seasoned veteran like Cooper Kupp, like there's still that rust. So it's like to really see who the Rams are right now, it's actually going to be a couple games, right? Maybe this game or the next is when now everyone's going to be in rhythm and they'll be, you know, closer aligned to each other. But we see this a lot with teams with like a quarterback who goes down. We saw this with Jordan Love, for instance, when he went down and then now he had to come back, and it was like, well, the rest of his team was able to continue to play. He wasn't. He only had 1 game. The rest of the team is already in like week 4, week 5 shape. He's still in like week 1 / preseason shape. It's just a disconnect. So I think even what we saw from the Rams versus the Vikings is not even the peak, quite frankly. I really don't. Again, they got to get back in rhythm together. So, and this has the potential to be that type of game, this rhythm game that they could really be like, yeah, you know, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. So I'm excited for this game. There's just so many fun games this weekend, honestly, and this is definitely one of them. I would be surprised if the Rams if they go backwards at all, right? If they don't continue to look comfortable, if they don't continue to kind of do what they want to do offensively. I don't see the Seahawks getting in that way. I will always choose a Matthew Stafford and a Sean McVay with weapons over any defense, no matter how hot they were to start the season or how they are right now. So just the way I'm looking at it. So it's going to be interesting. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the LA Rams, what they're looking like? What do you got? Who do you got in the Rams versus Seahawks? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.